folks, welcome back to another episode of The Fallen Badge. Today we're going to look at the murder of Sergeant Meggan Callahan, Division of Adult Correction, North Carolina. Now, Sergeant Callahan was 29 years old. She had 5 years on the job with the Department of Corrections. Now, she's from the great state of Rhode Island. I'd love to know the backstory on how she came from way up north and ended up down in the south. Now, she wasn't married. She had a big family. And I don't know if most of her family wasn't still up in Rhode Island. Evildoer in this episode, way back in 2004, he was convicted of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison. Now, of course, life is not life. But in any event, fairly serious charge, I'd say, first-degree murder. It's a Class A felony. That's pretty well at the very top. Now, the first few years that he's in the North Carolina prison system, he's moved around to different maximum security prisons. And from what I saw in the resource material, he seemed to be trouble everywhere he went. Which, of course, if you're in prison for committing a murder, then you probably are a hard case. Now, for whatever reason, he gets moved to a medium security prison. I don't understand. You're been convicted of first-degree murder. That sounds like maximum security to me, always and forever, especially if you're being a troublemaker. But anyways, he's sent to this lower level prison, and in North Carolina, medium security means you're in a dormitory style rooms instead of cells. Well, that's very nice. It's very fuzzy and warm, isn't it? All right. Now, over a 2-year period, he's written up at least 6 times. Now, if he's written up 6 times, there's no telling what all he had done that they didn't write up. They got him for fighting and possessing illegal narcotics and for having a phone. But, well, I tell you, the corrections in North Carolina, they didn't play around. October 2015, they put him back in maximum security. That'll teach him. But then they changed their minds again, because in October of 2016, they moved him back to medium. Now, at the time of this event, he's been assigned to Birdie Correctional Institute. Now, that's in Windsor, North Carolina. Now, the resource material says this is a closed custody facility, medium security. Well, now, I thought the one step above medium was something a little more stringent, like maximum. Sounds like a play on words. In any event, that's where he's at the time of all this confusion. Now, about a week before the killing, suspect warned prison officials that he had homicidal thoughts and needed help for his mental health conditions. Now, this may come as a shock, but prison officials did not act on these warnings. Now, the guy's in prison for committing first-degree murder, so I would think that homicidal tendencies are probably right up his alley. So I really don't understand why he's not in a maximum security prison, 23 hours locked down and 1 hour to exercise, but I know nothing about the penal institutes or their way of doing things. It's April 26, 2017. Now the suspect, he's mad because he wanted to move to a different bunk and they wouldn't do it. So his feelings are hurt. This self-admitted homicidal maniac. Now he really gets upset because at about 5 p.m., Sergeant Callahan, she wrote him up for failing to follow a direct order. Now, as you might guess, the suspect, he's already upset because he doesn't get his new bunk assignment. So about half an hour, so around 5:30 or so, after Sergeant Callahan's written him up, he starts a fire in a trash can in his cell block. Now, according to the resource material, the medical examiner, the Department of Labor and Public Safety, all pretty well agree of the following facts. Sergeant Callahan responds to the cell block. She's got 2 officers with her. They went into the dorm. It's just amazing, a dorm in a prison. It's beyond me. Alright. Now, Sergeant Callahan goes in there and gets the trash can. The other 2 officers, who by the way are brand new, absolutely brand new rookie prison officers, they just stand at the door and watch. Now Sergeant Callahan, she drags and pulls this 50-gallon trash can into a bathroom area. And she's got a fire extinguisher. Now, after she drags it into the bathroom area, the suspect attacks her from behind. Now, Sergeant Callahan kind of fights him off and tries to run for it. Well, now he throws water into her face and upper body. Now, he had taken this water and heated it in the microwave. Now, of course, that pretty well put her down right there. Then, the suspect attacks her with a piece of glass. I guess that was his homemade shank of the day. Now, evidently, cutting her with the piece of glass wasn't enough. He then gets the fire extinguisher that she had, stands over her, and beats her in the head with it, repeatedly. Now, the autopsy report would later say that Sergeant Callahan suffered burns to her face, chest, and left arm, and she died of traumatic head injuries. And I don't know who finally came and restored order because the 2 officers with her did not intervene according to the resource material. Now, the prosecutor's office will be seeking the death penalty for this inmate who's in prison for committing first-degree murder. Now, I don't understand, and neither did the resource material, how you can take an inmate who is trouble from the very beginning and you put him in a medium security prison. It doesn't make any sense. That's absolutely nonsensical. Now, according to an investigation by one of the media outlets, the unit Sergeant Callahan was overseeing was pretty well, for the most part, understaffed. And that the officers they did have, a lot of them were untrained or lightly trained or had no actual hands-on experience. It's one thing to go through an academy or some kind of training, but you don't learn till you actually get out there and do it. Now, I don't know if this is a misprint or not, but according to the resource material, Sergeant Callahan only had 4 officers with her that day that she was killed. Now, the Department of Labor says that's half of the recommended number. And that's also according to current and former officers at that prison. Now, currently the state of North Carolina is being sued over this. The families filed a lawsuit in federal court and one in state court. And sure sounds like there's something wrong. Somebody's negligent somewhere. Now, of the other 2 officers that were present, one was in a control booth and the other one was in a different part of the prison. I can't even believe you'd have that few officers. That's beyond belief. Now, this lawsuit is stating that the unit Sergeant Callahan worked in had an inadequate number of trained or experienced correction officers, and it placed an unreasonable risk upon Sergeant Callahan in her job. I'd say, yeah, she's dead. I'd say absolutely, positively. Now, this lawsuit against the great state of North Carolina's Department of Corrections says that they failed to follow their own safety procedures. Sergeant Callahan sure didn't need to die. You talking about murder. They got her murdered. That's awful. It's one thing to risk your safety in doing your job, but it's another when the cards are stacked against you. God bless Sergeant Callahan. She sure was trying to do her job. I think if others within this system had done their job, we all might still be alive on this one. Sergeant Meggan Lee Callahan. End of watch, April 26, 2017.